like to call everybody's attention to opening the Planning Commission meeting this evening. Please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As a quick reminder, if you could silence your cell phones, that would be wonderful. Great. Thanks. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Blaylock.
Here.
Commissioner Bielski.
Here.
Commissioner Brightcloth.
Here.
Commissioner Gratiter.
Here.
Commissioner Levin.
Here.
Commissioner Welter. Chairman Needleman.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Can I have a motion to approve the minutes of the meeting of February 7th?
So moved. Second.
Comments, additions, corrections? Can I motion to accept as written?
Second.
Everybody in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so now we're going to open the public hearing, the continuation of the last meeting on February 7th. Okay. Are we short seats back then? We're working on it. Okay, thank you. Okay, so I'm going to give a quick opening statement before we proceed. Welcome to the continuation of the public hearing. We're glad you have all chosen to participate in this important process. We've received letters from many of you, and I'd like to make some clarifications of the misconceptions that appear to be out there. This process began by the applicant engaged Senior Homes, meeting with staff a couple of times gathering information. They then chose the property location, negotiated a sales contract, contingent on approval of the zoning variance. Waiver. The applicant then applied to village for the waiver. The village is bound to give due process to all requests, whether by an entity or a resident. We are in the midst of this process by conducting a public hearing, so not only is this process transparent, but gives the public an opportunity to voice their support, objections, and questions. At no time did the village engage in discussions with the applicant in regards to exact location choice or pre-approval of the waiver. The Planning Commissioners had no contact with the applicant until they came before us at our monthly meeting, making a short presentation about their company and their intentions. Our next meeting with them was at the last public hearing. While we understand the emotional frustrations of many of you, please understand that we must continue to follow the law and path of fairness for all who come before us. At the beginning of the public hearing last month, the village attorney presented a very objective review of the decided case law of the courts that must be taken into consideration in making this decision on whether or not to accept the application for waiver as is, modify it, or reject it outright. Many of the public comments at the hearing and letters received since did not take into consideration those cases that we as commissioners cannot ignore. We have posted much of the documentation on the village website that was presented. My hope in this meeting is that the applicant, commissioners, and the public will remain respectful of each other and maintain the decorum I know we expect of each other. While we all want to have an opportunity to speak, please keep in mind that this meeting will not be continued and there will be a vote taken this evening at whatever time it should be on the Planning Commission's recommendation to the Board of Trustees. With that, I'd like to outline the process we will follow. So first, I believe we all understand why now we are here. applicant has requested a waiver of zoning, having 3 non-blood related relatives living into a house. They have requested 13. The next step will be that petitioners will have the opportunity to respond to questions that we sent them, that many of you sent to us, and they'll have an opportunity for their consultants to speak. We then will have public comment. We will then close the hearing, reopen the regular Plan Commission meeting. The commissioners will have discussion and then vote. Okay, so the process, I'm going to use the sign-in sheet. I'll call your name. We have a timer. People have 4 minutes to speak. If you do not complete what you would like to say, I'm hoping that you will. You will have an opportunity to come back up and speak once everybody else has spoken. All questions we would like directed to me. There will be no direct discussion with the applicants. I'll take down your questions, and then at the end, we'll ask them your questions. Okay? Okay. So, let's get started. Valerie has a PowerPoint. Right. You have a PowerPoint. Didn't that screen come down? Thank you. I got it. That's right. I'm not going to use it right away. So, good evening. I'm Craig Reeve, one of the one of the partners in the senior homes.
I'm Judy Plata, one of the partners in the senior homes.
And after we address some of the questions that the Planning Commission sent us, I'm going to turn it over to
Valerie Kretschmer, president of Kretschmer Associates. We're a planning and real estate consulting firm.
So for those of you that attended the hearing last month, we had an overview of the age senior homes and who we are and what we're trying to do. I'm not going to present. That's all posted on the website for the sake of time. If anybody has questions, we can address those. Plan to go through there. From the direction from the Planning Commission, they wanted us specifically the questions that sent to us. So that's what I think these questions, I'm sure, are a subset of all the questions you all have in your minds or that you've submitted or asked. So I'm sure it won't answer all the questions, but it's the ones that we were asked to address. So question number 1 was exactly how many people will they meaning the senior homes, employ or contract to run this home? During the day, we will have 2 caregivers there, and overnight there will be 1 caregiver. They will all be employees per IDPH guidelines, very similar to the types of caregivers we employ in our open arms home care business. The background checks, all the different things that we have to do. There will be likely a nurse that comes occasionally for medication management once or twice a week, but not to provide care directly to residents. And then we'll have a shared manager that will be shared across 3 homes that might be there a few times a week to help out or if the staff is off or supplement and
Since the garage will no longer exist, how many cars will potentially be in the driveway when all the above are present plus visitors? And how will that work with the driveway configuration? So
In discussion,
ask some of these questions, or try to answer some of these questions. We will definitely understand and meet all the parking requirements and driver requirements. We expect during the day to have 2 or 3 cars there if everybody drives and leaves their cars. The residents themselves will not have cars and not be allowed to drive. So it'll just be the staff and or visitors. We don't know, obviously, how many visitors will be there at any given time right now. Typically, it's 2 or 3. A lot, but we don't know that. And if that's an issue either in parking or in the number that be there, we would have reservations, so to speak, so that we don't have 6, 10 people show up all at once. In terms of the driveway configuration, for those of you that have any familiarity with the home, it has a very long, thin driveway. Stretches about 150 to 200 feet from front to back. Quite a bit of room on the side of the garages. We'll likely expand the driveway a little bit, widen it, and then meet the building requirements for parking. You realize it's all underwater? Yes, we've been over the house quite a bit.
Excuse me, would you please hold your questions, just let them finish.
And, so bottom line is we will have maybe 2 or 3 cars plus visitors there. We may or may not have a turnaround in front of the home. A circular driveway is common with a lot of homes in the neighborhoods. Third question was, are there regular schedule for health assessments for residents and how often? And does a nurse do the assessments? So there were several questions that directed towards us that are really operational questions and regulatory questions and requirements from the state. Senior group homes are regulated by the Illinois Department of Health, just like our home care businesses. Many of the rules are very similar to our home care business. Some are different because of the environment. The rules for senior group homes are actually more similar to assisted living rules than they are to our home care business, but there's a lot of overlap. For residents who don't have medical needs, where nursing is involved, we would do the assessments with the manager who has to meet the state qualifications. They don't necessarily have to be a nurse. In some cases, managers are nurses. In some cases, aren't. It's not a requirement. There's also a requirement for their physician to say that they are, medically capable to live in a senior group home, for that matter, assisted living. In other words, if they are too advanced medically, the doctor can say no, that's not the proper environment. Conversely, if they're not, that they don't need assistance with anything else, the doctor would probably say you wouldn't want to live in one of these group homes or assisted living because it's too expensive.
ADLs are activities of daily living.
Right, activities.
Helping people bathe, dress, walk, eat. That's a kind of thing.
There is, in the question that's posted, the answer that's posted on the website, there is, in all cases, we reference sections of the IDPH regulations that are pertinent to whatever the questions are that are operational. So we did the same thing with this one. Question number 4. The petitioner stated that residents must be medically stable, but what does that mean? They seem to imply that they allow residents with dementia so long as there are no behavioral issues. Is that correct? Once again, this is all regulated by the state of Illinois in terms of requirements. There are not black and white lines to say who is medically stable and who's unstable. It's shades of gray that are oftentimes decided by physicians, not by the senior group home, but there are extensive regulations on by the IDPH that regulate this. In terms of dementia or cognitive issues, it's very common in our home care business, which is one-on-one care in homes or senior buildings. Probably 2/3 of our current clients have some level of cognitive decline. It is common for seniors that need assistance with daily living to have cognitive decline. They're fine physically, they're medically stable, but they have a hard time, they can't make a meal, they can't remember, they can't do tasks, they can't drive, they get lost, etc. Those are the types of folks that have mild to moderate cognitive decline that Food safety certification, will someone on the premises be certified? We'll definitely meet all the state, county, local, and our liability insurance requirements for food safety. There's no certifications that we're aware of at this time in terms of the staff, because we will not be serving public meals. So this is for residents of the group home. It's not going to be for people to come in and buy or participate in meals. It's a little bit different than what a restaurant is for those reasons. In terms of running a quality group home, you have to have good food safety. So we'll train the folks, the manager that oversees things will be trained. It'll be an important part of liability insurance requires training in food safety. So it's a core requirement of running any operation. My understanding is while the petitioner has toured senior group homes, they have not ever worked or resided in one. Definitely not resided in one. Correct. Do they have any other experience with the actual operation of a home with 13 residents? So whomever asked this question, their understanding is correct. We in this group have not personally operated senior group homes. Julie is the founder and president of our Open Arms Home Care business. We take care of at a given time about 250 to 300 clients around the Chicago metropolitan area and in assisted living and senior homes. We have extensive experience in taking care of seniors, one-on-one and oftentimes couples, and in senior buildings. We also belong to, there's an academy or an association, the Residential Assisted Living Association, that does extensive training, and we've gone to all their meetings and we report with operators. We are actually highly, what concerns most folks that consider doing senior group homes is running the operation. We collectively actually feel a great deal of confidence in that. I know that may not bring confidence to you all because of our experience in our home care business. These are the same types of folks that we take care of in the home care business day in, day out. They really are. Studies, let's see, question number 7, we're getting close to the end. Studies supporting the comment that 13 residents is a better therapeutic environment than 6 or 8. So we've actually went to several folks to try and find a study that went down to that discrete of a level. There are no studies that show 5 residents or 10 or 20 is better than this. There's too many other variables in terms of therapeutic or the satisfaction of residents or their happiness. What we would say, though, and one of the reasons we asked for 13 is that enables us to have the staffing and capability to offer more activities that the caregivers or others would do, music programs, art, things like that, that if we were in a smaller environment and much more constrained, we just simply wouldn't be able to offer. And what is undeniable, we submitted several studies that are posted on the website, is that both socialization and activities are a key part of seniors staying healthy. And it won't turn around dementia, but it can definitely improve things. So from our perspective, one of the reasons our intention is to build larger group homes. The state allows up to 16, subject to municipality review. We think the number of 12 to 13 is about right because of the ratio of caregivers and the capability to provide engaging activities for the residents. What is the medical training of the staff? By definition, we are not providing medical care in the senior group homes, and if someone needs medical care, they would go out to outpatient rehab, to skilled nursing rehab, to a hospital. So there are medical training requirements for caregivers and for management, but it's more about recognizing changes in conditions for residents, which is a key part of what we do in our home care business. Someone spikes a fever, someone hasn't eaten in a couple of days, someone doesn't have good color.
for property sales. The home, most of you are probably familiar with it. We conclude that it's compatible with neighboring homes. Craig talked about it. It's set quite far back from the main road. There are very large back and side yards. It's a very large wooded lot, so that it's really hard to see the neighboring properties, even without any trees, without any leaves on the trees. And what we have found in talking to people at these other group homes is that it's likely to generate far less traffic than the daycare home that's actually around the corner behind it on Woodland Lane, particularly since people won't be coming at rush hour. You may have 2 people coming at rush hour here, and that's it, compared to what you would have at a daycare facility. how long it takes to market a home or the pricing of homes in this area. So in conclusion, basically, the metrics are very good for what's been going on in terms of the area within 1/4 mile of these senior group homes. They're not negatively affected. Realtors report that marketability is not a problem. In fact, in the area that we consider to be the market area from which this group home will draw, which includes Riverwoods and the neighboring communities here, we've got 2,700 people who are over 75 years of age. They have some kind of a disability that requires this assistance with activities of daily living. So there are quite a number of people who would be potentially residents here. 13 units, 13 people is only 0.4% of the number of people out there who could possibly benefit from this type of thing. And in fact, renovating the home should have a positive impact on nearby homes in the community. Thank you very much.
Thank you. No, good.
Thanks. Thank you. Okay, so I'm just going to go down the list. Please forgive me if I mispronounce your name. I'll do the best I can. Lorraine Ann Sanders. Correct? Yes. Lorraine on Sanders Road. Okay. Do you want to speak? Okay. I'm sorry, well, it says and Bill. Is Bill want to speak? Okay. If you want to speak, you don't want to speak? Okay, fine. Floyd or Pam Mandel? So if you wouldn't mind, just give us your name and then.
Yes, first of all, thank you, Craig and Julie and Valerie. And this is my first ever meeting in Riverwood, even though I've been a resident since 1989.
Glad to have
So, and I've corresponded with some of you, but not about this issue. I am definitely not an expert in elder law or FHAA law, but I thought Bruce did an excellent job with his memo. I read the 7th Circuit cases that you cited. I read the 4th Circuit cases you cited. Elder care and disability law has been subject to some abuse over the last few years. I just represented Disney in a case where a former one-hit wonder from the 1980s said that she was abused because she's over 65 and they used her song and they thought it was copyright infringement. Of course, we had that case dismissed. With all respect to Valerie, and I deal with a lot of experts, I don't know what real estate agents you talk to. I don't know whether you talk to a representative group. I know that the law requires for meeting the burden of a variance, both that it's necessary and reasonable. If you're accommodating 0.4% of people in need, I don't see how necessary it is. And with all respect, and I feel I'm very humble, I'm not the Donald Trump type, St. Charles, Geneva, Skokie, and Grays Lake are not Riverwoods. And I grew up right around Howard Street. Howard Street is not Duffy Lane. Okay, I don't believe that the burden has been met, that this is necessary. And I don't believe it's reasonable. And I've looked at the criteria in all respect and to Bruce, and I'm familiar with the judges that have rendered those decisions. I don't think the village is at risk. And I will say that although I do have a lot of experience in litigation and my expertise is mainly intellectual property, if the village decides to deny this request and is sued, I will represent you on a pro bono basis, and I have 100 lawyers in my department that will assist me. I think that this will change the neighborhood that I have lived in since '89, and I don't really care that much about the sale value, because you know what? I told my wife, I'll die in this house. One last thing in closing. I had no experience with respect to elder care, but my mom is now in Gidwitz since October. We've explored a lot of facilities around the area, from Brookdale to the Weinberg Center. We've also had home care. So I think I know a lot about the facilities in this area. There is no need that cannot be satisfied where these 0.4% people are going to be deprived of something. And I can tell you this, I would not put my mom in a facility with 12 other people where there were only 2 people looking over them. I have so much respect for the people that are in this business. It is not a personal attack on you. I believe in America and in making money, but I will tell you, I just do not understand the need or the reasonableness of putting a facility on Duffy Lane. And I thank you for your attention, and if I leave early, it's not because I don't respect other views, but I get up at 4 in the morning and I usually will sleep by 9:30. Thank you.
Francis Lorenzo, or Lorenz Jr.? Never mind. Go. Martin Kaiser? Would you like to speak? Okay.
I have basically one question. My name is Martin. I live in Anita. Right now, my wife.
Okay, sorry.
We've never got that long enough. We live at 1350 Saunders Road. We are the house that the ambulance comes past when it does go. And to their credit, they do not use their sirens very often. Most of the time at night, they just have the flashing lights on. We do see that as we're sleeping. My real question is it the intention to maintain the well on the property, or are you going to be going to the city water? The reason I ask that is we have been on a well and we have lived in this home for 50 years. We have raised 4 kids there. We had to teach them how to take very short showers. And it's a great place to live. The water that we've had in the well has been wonderful, but it is in short supply. This lady plants 1 million flowers every spring, and when you water flowers here in Riverwoods, you really hope and pray that you're going to get more than 20 minutes of water out of the hose. So I'll let you.
I think I was really shocked when I heard the amount of staff. Years ago, and quite a few years ago, I was director of nursing at Whitehall North. My best friend died yesterday at the Glen in a beautiful facility with wonderful care, wonderful everything, activities, physical therapy, occupational therapy. And people, when they get older, are like toddlers. You've got to look after them. They don't get better, they go downhill. And when you said 2 people will be taking care of 13 people, I was in shock. One-on-one on home care, I think, is wonderful. And you talk about, I've taken care of the very wealthy on the North Shore, and I approve of that. But when you say a nurse is going to come in once a week, you don't have a doctor, or he comes in occasionally, or you make a phone call, that disturbs me. Would you want her to take care of 13 little toddlers and have 2 people responsible of helping them get dressed? Obviously, they aren't there because they can do everything for themselves. I think the staffing is dismal. and I wouldn't want to be there. I live on that road, and I hope Marty is 81, I'm 80, and we are active adults. But when you check into a place that's going to take care of you, you expect people there to take care of you. How can 2 people, and they're not even nurses, take care of 13 people who are going down the slope? Okay?
Thank you. Ted? I'm Woodland. Ted?
My name is Ted Roseman, and I live at 2280 Woodland Lane. As stated by the leadership of the village on its website, Riverwoods is like nowhere else. We have the largest collection of private residences in a woodlands preservation setting anywhere on the North Shore. Privacy, simplicity, personality, and accessibility. Our residents respect it, protect it, cherish it, and value our community with the hope that it will continue to thrive. Within this framework, there exist important concerns and issues that underline the need for serious evaluation and study. As will become evident at this time, it is premature to recommend a waiver of the residential ordinance requirement. Currently, the village zone states, as we just heard, 3 unrelated people in a home in Riverwoods is the current. This LLC seeks to allow 13 residents to occupy a home with 2 full-time caretakers during the day and 1 caretaker during the night. This is an ambitious endeavor. 13 goes beyond the view of a small home care area. The small shared home of 3 or 4 or 5 people is a small home. When you move to 13, you are then changing the whole dynamics of the situation, and it really begins to move to an institution. Also, this LLC has literally no experience in such a venture. This is the first try for them to create such a facility. Since this is a startup business venture, just founded last year sometime, there is no track record that we have seen to gauge its future performance and impact on the community. According to their business plan, they will add 1,000 square feet of living space to the property that we discussed, while significantly extending the driveway, adding a yet-to-be-defined significant parking area in our residential community. Their business will abut to existing homes on multiple sides. Our reasons for rejecting this waiver in its current form center around safety, water issues, and environmental concerns. And after my presentation, the Smithsons will delve into those details. For these states concerned, the business venture of this magnitude proposed by an untested LLC, and I repeat, again requires evaluation and further study. There is no mandate that the village accommodate a large business. It is not the village's job to ensure that Engage Homes achieves the highest level of profit. Many small assisted living residences have been established within communities with great success. These communities and those in other states should be contacted so the village itself can benefit from the lessons learned. Our attorney consulted with the former head of the Department of Developmental Services for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. We learned that Massachusetts has been involved in residential housing arrangements since the 1970s. The emphasis is for residential facilities to fit in both terms of structure and the number of residents within the surrounding residential area to ensure that property values are also not adversely affected. Our attorney also spoke with a former lifelong special education teacher in Arizona who happened to have a small residential facility with 4 unrelated residents next to their home. Challenges did exist relative to the competence of the supervision and the conscientiousness of the manager. Her comment with respect to this proposed 13-person facility is that it's not a shared home, but it's an institution. And I would ask the village, what is their long-range plan if this business fails? What happens to the property? What, for example, happens to a house 13 bedrooms? What is the envision for the future of this facility years from now? And what's the flexibility of it ever being able to convert to a single-family home? And how will the village justify the destroyed wetlands to the community? If the village believes that there is a moral, ethical, or legal duty to promote assisted or shared living, this may be accomplished within the parameters of the current zoning for a single-family home with no more than 3 unrelated people, or even consider 4 to 5. But not, we've had a lot of conversations, I want my time, okay? But not 13. This is an interesting concept, and perhaps it may be tested for a community under the proper circumstances by truly using the small shared home concept within the existing zoning, or maybe allowing 4 to 5 residents, versus the institutional approach of 13. It's the size of the business that is the issue. We asked the leadership of Riverwoods to turn down specific variance requests, but consider a lower number that is consistent with the small home shared concept, or consider the sale of alternate property to the applicant that will allow the proper development of a senior housing facility that is envisioned, one that we all can be proud of. Such an approach, again, would be consistent with the stated village goal that is to improve property values by caring for our unique woodlands. We as long-term residents thank you for your consideration on this very important matter.
So, I'm going to, we'd like to have everybody speak. We have almost 30 people here who want to speak, so if you could just try to keep within the time limit as close as you can, it would be appreciated, I'm sure, by everybody. Heidi and Mark.
Heidi and Mark Stinson, we're 2250 Woodland. So, Craig and Julie, thanks for addressing what you sent over. I think maybe what we'll focus on is just what our outstanding concerns are, after seeing some of the presentations. So one of my concerns is the details to the number of people visiting the property each day. I was able to spend some time on the Engage Senior Homes website, position. But when I look at the services offered, which are great services, medical and medication monitoring 24/7, incontinence care, manicures and pedicures, can I come over and get mine done? Medication setup and reminders, haircuts, salon and barber type, bathing, laundry service, housekeeping, home cooked meals, personalized care programs, recreational and social activities. It goes on from there. I mean, amazing services, but I question how two people could do that during the day and one person at night. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but just cooking dinner for me and Mark, I mean, that's a production, and cleaning up afterwards, it's a production. I can't imagine taking care of 13 people in addition to doing that. Garbage and recycling, I don't know, are we considering, or is the village considering adding pickups to the garbage and recycling? I know that when my kids are home, and there's 4 of us, I have double the garbage than just the 2 of us. So will there be an industrial-sized dumpster? Just additional questions. Parking and traffic was a concern I had. I only saw some of the drawings. I wasn't at the meeting last month on how the driveway was going to be laid out, but it looks like I'll have a really beautiful view of it from my backyard, and it will probably be a parking lot. If there's 6 cars that are facing the street, is there going to be additional screening, landscape? Is there going to be lighting there at night? Is that where the ambulances are going to pull off in the middle of the night? I guess I just have more questions about that. With regard to the driveway, it sounds like perhaps